Well, I think the first thing to do is to get an understanding of what patriarchy is, which is essentially a system where property and title were handed down from father to son, from generation to generation. In the literal sense, that is patriarchy. And in the more figurative sense, in the ideological sense, patriarchy is a system that oppresses women, and indeed were handed down from father to son. That existed. The patriarchy where women were oppressed for the sake and benefit of oppressive males in cultural wide phenomena, that never happened.
Is not the filter through which is not the only defining filter of men and women. If men made the rules to benefit men at the expense of women, here's some of the way the world would look like. We would make rules that every woman would be sexual with us whenever we would like. And that the women who are very young, maybe 13 or 14, would be very interested in us. That we would be, that when we were, that we would die, we have a longer life expectancy than women, that the world would be set up in such a way that we would not be the sex to commit suicide. We would be the sex to least be likely to commit suicide. The world would be set up in such a way that we would have women pay for us on dates because they valued us more than we valued them. And so that we would have women take the sexual initiatives and risk rejection, and we would sit back and say yes or no, depending on whether we wanted to or not. We would, if a woman went too far too quickly, we could yell date rape, but she couldn't, and she would be, she would have to wait until she was proved herself innocent, rather than the other way around. We would have men's studies classes and not women's studies classes. We would have women have to be the primary breadwinner and earn more money because the road to high pay is a toll road. It costs and it takes a lot out of somebody to work very hard. We would have three options when the children are born: the option to raise the children, the option to be involved in the workplace, or the option to do some combination of both. Women would have just one option, the option to raise money, or raise money. And then we would feel free to blame them if they raised more money, and feel free to reject them if they didn't raise enough money. That's the way a patriarchy would look like. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of what it would look like. We would have female-only draft registration and not male-only draft registration. Men would have the option to join the armed services, but not the obligation to join the armed services, the option to go to combat, but not the expectation to go to combat. That's the way a world would look like if it was a patriarchy.